Well, greetings, Boise State fans. Welcome on in. Happy Tuesday with you. Jay Tust going to be with us momentarily. Then we're going to have Tyson Degenhart join us from the Boise State men's basketball team. We're going to have Tyler Rausa, the former Boise State kicker who is now in the USFL, doing great things there. So having a lot of fun. It's going to be a jam-packed Tuesday show. We appreciate you for checking us out here at Bronco Nation News, bronconationnews.com. We hope you are a subscriber to the website. It's only $70 for a whole year, $5.99 a month, I believe it is. If you want to go to bronconationnews.com and check it out, you can help us do things like have Jay Tust and John Mallory and Mike Prater join us. Excited for tomorrow's show as well. Throw a free plug in there, by the way. Winston Venable, the former Boise State running backs coach, former Boise State linebacker Winston Venable is going to join us on tomorrow's show to talk about what he's doing now, but also to talk about Khalil Shakir and Cyrus Habibi-Likio and Octavius Evans and some of the guys trying to get drafted into the NFL this weekend. So that'll be a fun show tomorrow, but really excited about today's show as well. As I said, Tyson Degenhart's going to join us. We're going to have Tyler Rausa as well. A lot going on in the Boise State world of sports, despite it kind of being the dog days of April here. So looking forward to talking some football with Tyler Rausa and basketball as well as we continue our series where we're breaking down a different player on the Boise State roster each week. And we bring in our main man, Jay Tust, with us here. And Jay, Tuesday.
It's going good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Appreciate you coming on. We got a jam-packed show today, as I said. Yeah. And one of those things where you try to plan ahead and then you get interviews kind of thrown into your lap, or guys say they can only do certain days. So we'll have 2 interviews today. Why not? And see what happens. And less talking for both of us, I guess, which is a good thing. I should tease this as well. Friday, Jay, we will have Cyrus Habibi-Likio join us on Friday. He couldn't do today, and so he's going to join us Friday, which is right on the cusp of him maybe getting signed or picked on Saturday in the third day of the draft. So looking forward to that. But today we got basketball and football, and I want to talk Tyson Degenhart, but let's briefly talk about Tyler Rausa, Jay, because this dude is going to join us here in a little while, and I've done some shows with him on here. We've all had talk with him and communicate with them, and I just have so much respect for the guy for refusing to give up, man. The dude's kind of gotten a raw deal when it seems like it with the NFL for whatever reason. He's just not getting much of a chance. Not many NFL teams, or he's had a couple workouts here and there. But I was searching for some video of him on Twitter to put a little package together for when he came on, and I'm finding Arena League footage. I'm finding stuff from like leagues I didn't even know existed, the Spring League, the XFL. I mean, this dude is just not giving up his dream for little pay to try to still get to the NFL, and now he's in the USFL. He's 2 for 3 on field goals, 2 for 2 on extra points with the Tampa Bay Bandits, and just really cool to see Tyler Rausa not giving up on his dream yet.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody out there that – I mean, I'm sure there is, but in terms of somebody that has just been so persistent in trying to live out and chase their dream, Tyler's right up there, man, with athletes that I've covered. And a lot of people would – I think he makes it look easy too. Like he just continues to live until the next opportunity comes up, and then he jumps at the next opportunity. But I'm sure it's not as easy as he makes it look. But just an impressive dude, impressive person.
Yeah, so looking forward, 9:30, Tyler Rausa is going to join us from, is it Birmingham, where they're doing the league there for the USFL, and Tyson Degenhart going to join us here in about 10 minutes at 9:15 to talk about his freshman season. Quickly, I want to thank United Commercial Insurance, unitedcommercialinsurance.com. If you're a business owner, they're the best in business insurance, so you may think you have good business insurance. Let them help you out. See if you can get a better rate on your next policy, whether it's the workers' comp, all the liability insurance. United Commercial Insurance can take care of you. Transportation compliance service. 1,000 people a day are becoming truck drivers, and it's a new booming industry due to the pandemic. And if you're thinking about a career change or a fresh start, truck driving is maybe a perfect opportunity for you, but you need help with all the permits and things like that. So TCS, Transportation Compliance Service, can help take care of you. And Boise Dentistry Co. as well. Full family dentistry. My family's made the switch. Those are my kids on the screen there. So very happy with Dr. Meinert and his staff. And Jay, I believe I can announce that J.L. Skinner does some NIL deal stuff with Boise Dentistry Co., and he's going to be out at the Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament on behalf of Boise Dentistry Co., so folks will be able to come meet J.L. Skinner out there with Boise Dentistry Co. at the Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament on June 3rd. So still some foursomes available if you're interested in that. So we're going to have JL Skinner out there. That's going to be a good time. Looking forward to that. But Tyson Degenhart, Jay, we're continuing our series here. We're in week 2. We're starting to wrap up because there's actually not a lot of returning players that played last year to talk about. And so Johnny and I briefly, we did talk Marcus Shaver Jr. yesterday, and obviously there's still a decision for him to make. I fully believe he's going to come back. Johnny actually thinks he's gone. I think that he's coming back. I think it's kind of just a formality at this point. But if Marcus Shaver Jr. does come back, then I think the instant second best player on the team, the guy is Tyson Degenhart, and he goes from kind of being a freshman, the 4th or 5th kind of guy, to now all of a sudden becoming a key part of this team. And we'll talk about his outlook for next year in a minute, but let's look back at last year. Man, just really impressive what he did. And I was looking at the game logs, man, and I know he kind of took off there, but it's crazy to think about 4 of the first 6 games of the season, he didn't even score. 0 points. He only had, which to me is like, what did Leon Rice see in this guy to put him in the starting lineup? But I mean, he only had 12 points total in the first 6 games. He goes into the starting lineup, and the rest is history, man. Yeah.
Kind of a crazy story. Really quick, when it comes to Marcus Shaver Jr., by the way, and maybe I'm making too much of this, but they're using Marcus Shaver Jr. on their basketball camp promos. You notice that at all?
I did, yeah. Yeah. But I think I saw one of the things where they had Hutchison and Jessup on there too. So I don't know.
But those are kind of like the alumni. I don't know. He was kind of grouped with, what was it, Naj, and I can't remember who else was on there, but I'm maybe making too much of it.
That's probably a good sign. That's a good
I don't know. If he wasn't coming back, I think they probably give somebody else that is coming back maybe that spot, I don't know. I might be making too much of it. But as we do get back to Tyson Degenhart, what a phenomenal story. What a phenomenal season for a kid that at the beginning, I don't know if we thought that he would make the impact that he did. And I mean, this is kind of like back when the only other similar storyline that you could have a parallel, just beeline to success out of nowhere would probably be James Webb. That season he started coming off the bench, and then all of a sudden Leon said, "Hey, let's put him in the lineup," and he immediately became like a Mountain West Player of the Year candidate. I mean, so to see the success that Tyson was able to achieve as a true freshman was pretty darn remarkable.
9.9 points per game, 3.9 rebounds per game, shot 50% from the field, and even more impressive, 42.5% from downtown. He was 45 of 106 from three-point range. And like I said, Boise State was 3-3. He gets inserted into the starting lineup, then goes on to have 7 straight games in double-figure scoring. 9 of 14 weeks after that, he was the Mountain West Freshman of the Year, or Freshman of the Week. He ends up winning Mountain West Freshman of the Year. A couple games that stood out to me: Super Bowl Sunday against Colorado State, he was 4 for 4 from three-point range, had 16 points. His season high, 23 points against San Jose State. He was 9 for 14 from the field. That game at CSUN, he had 21 points in that one. And I think something that goes a little under discussed, Jay, is some of the other things he does. He only had 25 turnovers on the season. He's not going to turn the ball over. And I really thought his defense on some of those big guys, whether it was EK or I'm trying to remember some of the other big guys, were due to foul trouble and stuff. And he got his chance to go up against some of those guys. But despite being a little undersized, kind of held his own. And so I thought he was an all-around, player. Obviously has the size, which is you like to see for a player that can kind of play inside or out. He had a lot of those little post-up one-handed shots in the lane that he was really good at. And there was times late in the season, Jay, where we never would have thought this before this season, but it's like, okay, Boise State really needs a bucket here. Let's dump it down low to Tyson. Like, I mean, it was crazy. Like they were, they need a bucket, get the ball to Tyson. And he was phenomenal, and he had a great year. And I think he, Boise State can say whatever they want about what they saw for him in terms of expectations or roles or whatever, but I don't think a lot of people could have seen all this coming in year one.
I agree. I think the thing that jumps out to me too was his efficiency. I mean, he was the only freshman in the country this year to shoot above 50% overall, 40% from three, and kind of be somewhat of a volume shooter. So 100 3-point attempts, And I mean, there are other guys that could have been in that discussion, like a Chet Holmgren. And I mean, like Chet is a unicorn in himself, but it just shows you like how special Tyson was in his own right this season. And so if you go back under those like those same metrics again, so 50% overall, 40% from three, on over 100 attempts from three, how quickly he was able to mature. And I've said this before, but Tyson Degenhart fit exactly what this Boise State team needed, and this Boise State team fit exactly who Tyson Degenhart was. Like it was the perfect storm for both of them this year, and we see what the end result was, a pretty magical freshman season for a kid that is going to be the face of this program for years to come.
And I was at this game up in Spokane. I thought this was a really cool moment where they won the game, obviously, and look at all the fans and he's all the folks that came to support him, and he's hyping him up. And there's Key Jab there. I mean, there were a lot of individual moments this year. That was one of them for me. That was pretty cool. But how do you spin this forward, Jay? What should be expected from the Mountain West Freshman of the Year in year two? As I said, no Key Jab. Acot's probably gone. I know they're going to, potentially bring in some transfers and things like that, but it's going to be Marcus Shaver Jr. and then I think it's Tyson Degenhart, who he may have had 9.9 as a freshman. I think he's a guy that you could see averaging 13, 14 maybe this year as a sophomore.
Yeah, I think you could see that 13, maybe 13 and 7, something kind of like that. He'll play D. It'd be hard to replicate some of his efficiency just because he was so darn efficient at times shooting the basketball. I think that'll be cool with Tyson is that, this year he kind of fit what Boise State needed him to do. And now moving forward, you will see Boise State kind of start to expand his role. Excited to see what he can, start to grow, his low post game and things like that. We know that he can be a capable shooter if they need him to, but now I think they'll start to see, or you're going to start to see Tyson really start to evolve his game and develop his game. And instead of Boise State kind of fitting him, they're going to start to try to accommodate, what Tyson can really do.
Well, folks can get their questions or comments in for Tyson. He'll be joining us momentarily, but quickly I want to thank Ridley's Family Markets. Shop Ridley's.com. 13 Idaho locations, including that Kuna location that I frequent often. They got the at-home shopping, the Skip app, home delivery, all that great stuff. So check them out, Ridley's Family Markets. We want to thank the Blue and Orange Store as well, theblueandorangestore.com. Whether you're in Boise, you can go to the Boise Town Square Mall, or if you're not in the area, you can check them out online at theblueandorangestore.com. Jay, he said on Twitter he'd wear the hat for you, and it looks like as we bring him in, he's got the bill going. He is all ready, and as I switch the background here to make sure it looks proper. What's going on, man? How's it going, Tyson?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, we're doing great, man. You got the Mariners Boise State hat just for Jay.
Just for Jay, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, Ty France probably going to win the MVP this year. Break Hack Wilson's 190 RBI record. It's probably going to happen.
He's on the right track right now. It's exciting to watch.
Now Jay has one of these hats too. I thought you were going to wear yours, Jay. Come on.
I do. It's actually at work. I woke up this morning. I got dad duty. You gotta make breakfast and everything to jump on this. So unfortunately, I couldn't pull it off.
Are you a big Mariners fan, Tyson? You big Mariners fan, Tyson?
I am a Mariners fan. I've been a fan throughout my whole life, but I really started to, start watching this past summer with RJ because he's a pretty big baseball guy, and over the course of summer I started watching more and got more into it. So this year I'm definitely more into baseball than I have the past 10 years.
Nice. People are already commenting on the hat, a sharp-looking hat. They're saying that was from the alumni night, right, or the Boise State night up in Seattle at one of the Mariners games, Jay, I think. And then somehow at a football game, I'm sitting there in the press box, and magically one of those hats just appears on Jay Tust's spot there in the press box. I was like, what happened here?
Yeah, Tice, the Mariners literally haven't been to the playoff in your lifetime, right?
Yeah, I was born in 2002, so no, I haven't made it.
I joke around. It feels like a lifetime for me, but I actually was alive. You were not. Wow. Hopefully they get it done this year.
That doesn't make you feel old, Jay. I don't know what will.
It makes you feel super old. I'm not going to tell you where I was in 2002.
We appreciate you joining us, Tyson. We're kind of doing this series here where we're looking at different players on the roster and kind of examining their season last year and looking ahead. What now that you've had a couple of weeks to kind of take a deep breath and decompress, what happened for you as a freshman? How do you kind of look back at last season?
It was a historic season, looking back at wasn't exactly the start we were looking for, going 3-4, but we really came together as a group and just made it happen. You know, did a lot of things that people really didn't think that we could do back in November, but you know, within our locker room, we believe we could do whatever we put our mind to, and that's what we did.
What about for you personally? I know we asked you a lot about it, but just coming in, not sure how much you'll play. You don't play much. I mean, 4 of the first 6 games, you don't even score. And all of a sudden, Coach Rice puts you in the starting lineup, and the rest is history. I mean, how do you look back at, Mountain West Freshman of the Year and all the things that you did this year?
It's definitely surreal, you know, coming into the season, you know, I didn't necessarily know how much I'd play, but when Coach Rice put me in the starting lineup, it was my opportunity to show him that that was the right decision, and I think I proved my worth there. And you know, I think the Mountain West freshman year is just the cherry on top. I mean, I'm more interested about us winning both the tournament champs and then Mountain West regular season champs. That's more what I was looking forward to doing this year.
Tyson, how big is this off season for you, and how does your role change? Because you were more than a role player on this last year's team, but for the most part, you fit this spot and you really helped the team win. But now you are going to be a dude for this team moving forward. So how does that kind of change your approach, or just maybe expedite your maturity as you head into this off season?
I think it'll change a little bit, you know, knowing what my role is more coming into the summer and then working on my game around what the coaches want me to do next year. I think that'll be a big part because last year was just kind of, you know, wasn't really sure what was going to happen throughout the season. So now I kind of have a refined role with the coaches and then just working on my game to sharpen up all my skills that they want me to be good at next year.
Yeah, I was talking with a Boo Key Jab maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and obviously he brought you up, and he says, as you continue to get in the weight room and you mature physically, sky's the limit for you. You're going to be the guy that leads this program. As you experience what a Boo did this last year and hear him say stuff like that about you, like what goes through your mind?
It means the world, you know. Abu was like a big brother to me this year. He showed me the ropes about, you know, how to approach your work and how hard you have to work to be successful in college basketball. And, you know, it's something I will do in the future and make sure to keep doing what he tells me to do and keep working hard.
What we talked about your season, there are obviously a lot of cool moments. I know, that the game in Spokane was a big deal for you, and we had the footage here of you talking to the announcer and all the fans behind you, and you thank the fans and you turn around and there's a couple hundred of them right there. And what was that? I know there were a lot of cool moments for you this year, but what did this moment mean to you?
Well, that was probably one of the cooler moments of the season, you know. Just the way the season started to go and I was in the starting lineup, it just made that moment more special for me. You know, I didn't play my best basketball that night, but as long as we got the win, I would have been happy. So it's nice to have a bunch of support there, and a bunch of my friends, family, and all sorts of people were there to support. So it meant a lot to me.
Well, you hit a fairly big shot late in the game. I remember that. You may not have made the first couple, but I know you had a big one that helped win the game. We got a lot of comments coming in here. Jordan said that Spokane crowd was what showed him he needed to be in Vegas. Sixth man was big against Washington State and in Vegas this year. Sorry, I don't know whose phone that was. Oh, no worries. What's for you, Tyson? Whether it be your 3-point shooting, we talked about your defense maybe being a little underrated. You only had 25 turnovers, so you took care of the ball. I mean, I know the stats are what they are, but what kind of are you proud of in terms of what you actually did out there on the court this year?
I was pretty happy with my 3-point shooting, you know. At the start of the year, I looked back because Berto and I were talking about it yesterday. I think out of my first 10 threes, I hit one. And, you know, when you see like 10% next to your 3-point percentage, you lose a little bit of confidence. But I had the trust of the coaching staff and my teammates, and they kept telling me to shoot the ball. And, you know, when that happens, it gives you all the confidence in the world. So to end up shooting just over 42%, I'm pretty happy with that.
If you bring that up, and if you look at what you were able to do in terms of your efficiency, Tyson, you look at, you shot over 50% overall, 40% from three. You were kind of a volume 3-point shooter with 100 attempts, 106, I believe. But if you kind of go off those splits over the last 10 years, the only other players in college basketball to do that are Lonzo Ball, Marcus Howard, and Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, that's a guy that led the NCAA in scoring and 2 lottery picks. Just to be kind of associated with that company, I mean, how surreal is that?
Like during the season, you don't really think about those things and like who you're being compared to and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But looking back, it's definitely super cool to be in a conversation with those type of, players, Lonzo Ball being a starting point guard for Chicago and Marcus Howard being, a very good pro player and along with Halliburton playing for the Pacers, just to be put in the conversation with those guys is super cool and super surreal.
So, where do you think your game will grow the most as you head into next season? And I mean, I could be wrong here. You know way more about basketball than I do, but if it feels like you did kind of at times offer some Boise State, something specific that could really help them. But moving forward, it seems like all of a sudden Boise State's really going to try to utilize what you can do. So, where do you think like next year we'll see, you continue to progress the most, maybe?
I think one thing I looked at, like stat wise, is my post game. I had some good stretches in games, but over the course of the whole year, I wasn't super efficient. Um, and most of what's going to happen this offseason is just learning how to get to my spots and then just rising up and shooting it over defenders. So that's probably the main way I'm going to improve my offense this summer.
How do you look at your role increasing too, just in terms of there's no Abu Kijab, looks like probably no Emmanuel Akot. I mean, you go from kind of being that freshman that could kind of quietly do his thing down there to now being, you and Marcus Shaver and so, right up there at the top. How do you look at kind of your role both as a leader and just, a guy that needs to produce for this team? I mean, obviously it is going to be a much bigger role for you this year.
It's definitely exciting, but it comes with pressure. People are going to expect a lot out of Shaver and I, and that's what this summer is for, is to get prepared for this upcoming season and put in all the work so that when the season comes around, we're just ready to roll.
How do you look at? I know a lot of fans maybe are kind of curious. Obviously, with Akot's surprising decision, you lose Kijab. We're not sure yet about Mladen, but I mean, just in general, how do you feel about this team? I mean, it seems like Leon is really excited about this team and the potential, and who knows what's going to happen in the transfer portal. I know you guys got Sada coming in. That's an exciting player, but how do you look at you guys are now the defending champs, regular season and postseason. You obviously want to try to go back to back. I mean, how do you look at the group you think you're going to have out there?
I'm excited with that whatever group we have. Whether Mladen stays or not, I respect his decision either way. But it would be great if he came back. But whoever is on our team, I'm excited to play with because we're all going to be bought into the goal of trying to win another Mountain West championship. And I think as long as we know that the target's on our back, we know we have to work hard and just try to get it done again next year.
Tyson, now that the dust is settled, your freshman season is over. You've had a chance to kind of reflect. It feels like maybe at times, we look back and maybe you did go a little under the radar in the recruiting process. Do you feel like you might have proven anybody wrong or proven anything to yourself as you kind of sit back and look at what you were able to do last season? Because obviously you had the attention of a lot of people over the last 4 months.
I think the main thing is that I just proved myself right and knowing that I made the right decision to come here because I committed when I was 16, like September of 2019, and everyone was kind of questioning like why is he committing so early? You know, maybe there'll be Power Fives that come after him later. But I knew in my heart and after talking with the coaches and my family that this was the spot for me. And after this season, just really looking back, I definitely made the right decision to come here.
Why is that? Is it the people? Was it the opportunity? Is it Leon Rice's love for dogs? I mean, like what is it that makes it just so perfect for you?
Well, I think there was three things coming into college that I really wanted, and one of them was like to be somewhat close to home, so like my parents can come down for games on weekends since they teach during the week. And then I wanted a good offense that fit my style, kind of like stretch the floor, let me kind of play my game. And the third thing is I wanted to make the NCAA tournament, and obviously we did that. But now that we got there, I want to get back again because I want to get at least one win in the NCAA tournament now for the end of my NCAA career. And looking back at the recruiting process, this was a school that offered me all three of those things. So it was just a perfect fit in my mind.
You do bring up the NCAA tournament, and one thing I noticed as everybody was leaving the floor, Tyson, you just kind of seemed to linger. Like it almost seemed like you didn't want to leave the floor. I think you hugged the boo and basically everybody else coming off the floor. I mean, how bad did you just kind of want to be there and be in that moment? And was that like a little glimpse of how badly you want to make it back too? Because like I said, it just didn't feel like you wanted to leave the floor.
No, I definitely didn't want to leave the floor, and after a loss, being that was my first NCAA tournament game, it's a memory for me for the rest of my life. So I just wanted to take it in and just look around in the crowd and see my parents there supporting me. So I had a lot of friends and family there. It was really nice to have them there. So I just wanted to see, uh, remember how I felt in that moment, and I don't want to feel that again. I just don't like that feeling of walking off the floor losing like that.
Well, Tyson, final thing for me, the NIL stuff. We saw the T-shirts and some of the other stuff. What do you got cooking on the NIL front? And what's that been like for a college athlete to experience some of that?
I have some stuff in the works right now. It'll probably go public pretty soon, but it's definitely fun. But sometimes it's stressful because you don't realize all the logistics that go into it. But with the help of Mike Walsh, it definitely makes it a lot easier on my end. So I'm excited for what's to come with NIL.
Well, I know Boise State fans are excited for what's to come with you, man. Best of luck finishing up school. Have a great summer. I'm sure we'll catch up with you, but it's going to be fun to watch your career develop, man. And it could be another big year next year for you and the team. So appreciate your time, and we'll catch up with you soon, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There he is, Tyson Degenhart. Jay, always good catching up with Tyson, and yeah, man, he had a heck of a year, and I think that you try to project 2-3 years from now where Tyson Degenhart could be. It's for a Boise State fan, it's got to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I agree. I'm bummed that we didn't have another half hour to talk about Boise State softball, because every game that I've been to this year, Tyson's been there.
There was a question about that actually that we couldn't get to, but
no worries. I'm kind of joking, but he really has been at every game that I've been to this year, and he sits like front row, man. Like he is like engaged. He's there. I shouldn't say engaged because that might have a different.
I think he does have a reason to be there, though, right?
He does have a reason to be there.
Well, Jay, appreciate it, man. We got Tyler Rausa coming on. Do you want to say hi to him here, man?
Absolutely. What up, Ross?
What's up, Jay?
Yeah, TB12's got nothing on TR12.
That's what we're going for.
Yeah, that guy's got nothing, man. Keep chasing the dream. We'll keep chasing or keep watching from Boise, bud. But super proud of you, man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you as always.
Jay's got daddy duty. So
you know what that's like.
I know that exactly. We all three know what that's like.
He wanted to jump on and say hey to you, but he's got to roll. But Jay, we appreciate it, man. We'll see you on Friday.
Sounds good, guys.
Take care. Jay. There he is, Jay Tust. Appreciate his time. What's going on, Tyler?
What's up, BJ? I
should have got the graphic for the Tyler Rausa show going again, man. Just
good.
Like old days. But Tyler Rausa, former Boise State kicker. We go from a current standout at Boise State to a former standout at Boise State. The USFL, man. You got a couple field goals. You got a couple extra points. You're back out there kicking in a game, man. What's it been like?
It's been good. It's just trying to find that rhythm again. Trying to find just kind of a relaxing comfort zone. It's been 2 years since the XFL, and just again trying to find that place to where I can continue to be consistent, continue to build on what I've had before, and just to keep going and put my best foot forward.
What's up with this shot, man? They tell you look mean or what?
I know they literally chose, the only photo where I was serious. I smiled in every single one. I had a couple different, poses, and then that was the one that they put out.
You look mean, man. I like it. But what do you think of the Bandits? I mean, I guess when you knew this year you were going to be in Birmingham no matter what, I guess the team really didn't matter. I mean, you probably never even went to Tampa Bay as part of this, but you are on the Tampa Bay Bandits. What do you make of just you've been in a lot of different leagues and things like that. What do you just make of this whole setup in this league?
It's been different. Just having every single team, everybody located in one place. And for, the first 3.5 weeks, we were all in one hotel. So sharing that hotel room with everybody, basically trying to have an environment to where you have, so many alpha males who, want to get to the next level. There's every once in a while you have something that was, a little bit chippy here and there, but, everything for the most part has been good. It's been, pretty professionally run. Trying to figure out logistics with, just stadium wise, it's been different playing in, the UAB stadium with nobody in there because, the home team with the Birmingham Stallions, they're the one that, they draw the crowd, and that's where, they hype everything up for it, which is great. And they do a good job with that. It's the other games where we're trying to figure out, what's the best way to go about some different things with calls with the quarterbacks, because everybody can hear everything. But yeah, it's been different kicking into, uprights and everything with nobody behind it.
And that is weird because, like, even the Birmingham team, just because it says Birmingham, they don't have any connection with the city. It's a new league and it's all new players anyway. So why the fans are choosing that game over the others? It's kind of interesting. But it's just been weird the way it's all set up there. I've seen like the same officiating crew doing multiple games, and I've seen they're just all compacted into a weekend. But all the games are on national TV, and it's pretty good exposure, man.
Right. It's just more film, more stuff that I can put on tape and send out, and especially with our coaching staff led by Todd Haley, they have a bunch of connections, and they're guys that I'm glad I'm under. I'm playing for. I'm showing who I am. And I got on Coach Haley, I think the first week where, I kicked for him in 2018 with the Browns, and I won that workout. And, he always comes back and says to me, we should have signed you in 2018. I'm like, I know this would be a whole different thing right now if that were to be the case. But, it's been great. Again, I enjoy our team a lot. Our team is great. They treat me great. And, especially with our coaches, again, they're connected. I can put film together and continue to push this dream.
Well, what you mentioned the dream, and me and Jay were talking about this earlier. I mean, what does motivate you now? What keeps pushing you? You got a family now. I'm sure this league isn't the most lucrative. I'm not sure if you can say what you're making or not, but I mean, you're obviously doing this for more than just the money. You still have that ultimate dream of getting to the NFL, proving everybody from the last 4 or 5 years wrong. But I mean, what is pushing you to keep kicking at this point?
Right. I mean, the dream is to get to the NFL and to be successful, and I'm still not there. I still haven't had that opportunity, and I still haven't been able to prove what I can do at the highest level. And honestly, what drives me is, continue to pursue my dream, but to continue to be able to tell my story. And, with my child now, Brooks, to be able to tell him that, hey, you know what, when you were little and, growing up and everything like that, I did everything I can to make your life the best life that you can have. And with, getting to the highest level, I can change his life forever. I mean, I can put him in a position to where he could go then do whatever he wants to do and better his life and better my fiance's life as well. And so, that's the dream there, and just continue to pursue the happiness of what football brings to me also. There's the times there where, I was working a couple different jobs, or I was doing a couple different things, and it just didn't feel right. And what football does for me, especially just as a person, it makes me happy. I always say football looks well on me. It looks good on me. And I am the most happy when I'm out here, and I have a better relationship with my fiance. I feel as if I'm a better dad. I feel I'm just a better person all the way around. And that's what just keeps driving me and keeps motivating me.
What's tell us about the controversy with the balls. We heard some controversy about the balls, and there's some sort of chip in them or something, and obviously they switched away from that. But I know you will never make excuses when you miss a field goal. But what's that whole deal been like?
Yeah, basically there's a tracker that's in the balls that they came out and talked about. And what it did is it tracks, how far things would have went, the spin rate, when they have the new first down technology, which is actually pretty cool for like the running backs and quarterbacks and all that. Tracks where it is on the field and everything like that. And basically it was, kind of just creating a distraction in a way to where, you can feel it off the foot, and just created a different rotation that wasn't true to kind of just what the ball was in general. But the best thing that the league did was they came to us and they sorted it out. They said, all right, what do we need to do to get you guys back comfortable? And they communicated with us. They communicated with everybody else outside the league with what was going on, and they ultimately did what was best for their players that are working for the league, which is great. And we thank them as much as we could, because it's have that, and then to basically just listen to us and go out and do it, and then the next week everybody performs and does well. That's the best case scenario. That's all we could ask for.
What I was reading something where you could tell like the weight wasn't distributed evenly or something. Could you tell a difference in the ball?
Yeah, and it if you were to hit the chip, it didn't feel very well off your kind of on your foot. A little bit of bruising that went on with mine, but everything's resolved now. We're moving forward.
We got a comment here. Says, what a nice person. Way to go, Tyler. Not giving up on your dream, man. Keep at it. You got this. Hope we see you in the NFL one day. What is this doing in terms of the tape and things like that? And what does a league like this do to hopefully continue to push towards that dream?
Again, I mean, it gives me more tape. It gives me more leverage to basically say, hey, I have tape, dating back to 2017 with the spring league all the way until now. It gives me an opportunity to meet more people, to give, my first impressions to, Jason Garrett was at practice the other day, and he's one of the reporters that's in the league. And I went out of my way so fast and say, hey, coach, nice to meet you. Tyler Rausa, I know just about half of your team because they all went to Boise State. And he just said who, and I started rattling off everybody. And so we had a good conversation. But again, it's to, at this point, it's one, to keep having tape, but two, to keep just meeting people. Because right now it's almost, who. So, to make that first impression the first time and have it mean something is also just as good as what I have on tape as well. So, the more connections that are out here, the better. The more people I can go introduce myself to, kind of tell my story, tell them what I've been doing, the better. Again, it's the more you know.
I went back on search Twitter last night, was trying to find some videos of the field goals or extra points you've made with the USFL, and they don't do a great job, at least, of putting it out there themselves. But I found footage going back to, and there were some indoor leagues I didn't even know existed that they're showing clips of you making. I mean, how many different leagues have you been in now?
Let me see. We went from, so let's just say, we went from University of Nevada, Reno, and then when that happened, went back to Riverside Junior College, from Riverside Junior College to Boise State to the Spring League to Arena to AAF back to Arena, from Arena to the XFL to did a little bit of the Spring League again, and then all the camps in between. So we're, around 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there.
That's crazy, man. Do you have all those jerseys saved or anything? Or
I have a couple of them. Couple of them are in off the field, just for what off the field has done for me and Taylor Bateman over there. I mean, it's, again, I try to put their name out there whenever I can, because they've done a great job and they've helped develop me as an athlete and as a person. And so they have a couple. I have a couple at the house. We just need to start framing them is what we need to do. I think my parents have a couple. They're everywhere.
Well, you got to save a spot right there in the middle for that NFL jersey when it comes.
Right.
What you mentioned doing this for your family and everything, but just Boise State fans and just people in general that you've come across, like you said, at the training facilities or your kicking coaches or old coaches or fans. I mean, just what part of that and that knowing that they're kind of supporting you and pushing you for this, how does that kind of it might be a little too much to say this could be a Disney movie someday or something if you make it. But I mean, you just think about this path and you're talking about 10 different stops. And what part of that too, knowing that folks back in Boise and the other stops are still following you and rooting you, what part of that does that, continue to motivate you and push you as well?
Oh, they're the best. I always say it about the people of Boise is they're the best. The amount of support, the amount of, there's random DMs that I'll get every once in a while from people. I mean, there's even times where I've been to a gas station and I've stopped outside of Eagle High School, where a guy came up to me. He's like, hey man, I'm rooting for you. Love your story. Love what you're doing. Keep going. And it's little things like that where, people will go out of their way just to root me on and to tell me to keep going, because it's, something that, either they wish they could have done or, they never had the opportunity to. So, to one, just be able to continue to do what I'm doing and to just have all of these opportunities and to just keep playing the game that I love is the best thing that I could have ever asked for. And to have the motivation to where I can motivate others to, somewhere I can even change a life to where I don't even know, just for me, just going out and pursuing my dream is something that I try to put my best foot forward every day with and just keep motivated and keep going, because you never know who it might affect or who it might change. And just by me being me, which is what I love.
Now, we've talked about this maybe on some of the previous shows, or maybe probably just through text messages at times. But now, being a St. Louis guy, we lost the Rams. They went, obviously back to LA, and so I was kind of bitter against the NFL. So when the Battlehawks came, I kind of adopted them as my team. My son likes football. I want to have a team that he can root for, and so we kind of adopted the Battlehawks. He's still wondering why the Battlehawks and Boise State haven't played yet, but he hasn't figured out how that works. But in general, I'm just being honest. I'm a little partial to the XFL because Battlehawks were there and I have a hat and stuff. But Jordan Ta'amu was the quarterback for the Battlehawks, and now he's the quarterback for the Bandits, right? So I was watching your game the other day, and I saw him at quarterback, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, what is the talent level? These two leagues, I guess, the talent level, and then just like I don't know if anybody expected the XFL to fold when it did. I know the pandemic was a huge part of that, but do you feel like this USFL is can it survive this time?
Yeah, no, I think all the leagues can kind of survive. They just, again, there needs to be kind of that fine line of what they need to pay for and what they don't need to pay for. Because you saw it with the AAF where they came out of the gates blazing and they're throwing money everywhere, and all of a sudden they're like, oh shoot, where did it all go? And with the talent level, there's talent everywhere. And at that point, it's where, we kind of had a short amount of time to come together as a team. And so that's where you see some of that sloppy play. And it's you just have to have guys that come together at the right time and be able to just basically just be a cohesive unit to where, if something goes wrong, it doesn't go wrong terribly. It's a game of misses. And you just have to have the least amount of misses. And Jordan, I just beat him up pretty good in golf. He wanted to go golf, and we went to the oldest course in Alabama, which was pretty cool. They gave us a little history on it and stuff like that. And he got beat up pretty good, but he's a great guy, great teammate, great quarterback. Again, he's just one of the few on our team that has this firepower from, being in the NFL and having all this talent. And we are not short on talent. I'll tell you that. We have a lot of guys on our team.
Well, I'm hoping you're in the NFL this time next year, but if you're not, I don't know what your contract situation is. I'm waiting for The Rock to announce the teams. If St. Louis gets a team back, I'm holding out hope that I'll be the first one to buy a Rausa jersey if you can get on the Battlehawks, man. But,
right. Yeah, more football. That's what we're hoping.
I don't even know if they have, they were talking about if they're going to do the same thing as the USFL, being in the same, location for 1 year, if they're going to try to do all the travel and all that. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I mean, in terms of the feeder leagues to the NFL and all this, there's been all this talk about all these leagues. I mean, can there be too much football, or is the XFL, USFL, CFL? I mean, there's so many leagues now, but it sounds like guys like you are benefiting from that. I mean, you think it's a good thing?
I think it's a great thing. Again, the more opportunity for others, the more that, you get people who are meant for football in the football scenarios, the better. You can never have too much football, especially with, the CFL being one of the great leagues. They don't show many many of the games in America. You kind of have to go out of your way to see it. And it's a little bit of a different game. And then, you have some arena football, which arena football it's entertaining. It's not the best football, but it's entertaining. But the more of these leagues, the more opportunities, the more that you find kind of those guys that slid through the cracks, kind of like myself, where, they just need to go out and have the opportunity to prove themselves.
And I assume the goal is to play well in this league. And I don't know when this league ends, but is that in time, I assume, to hopefully get some sort of training camp invite with a team or something?
Oh, 100%. Just enough to where I can go, prove myself and be able to do what I do. I never asked for a starting spot. I never asked for me to be the only guy. I asked for opportunity to go in there and do what I'm able to do and show what I can do and make an impression. Well,
before we let you go, I do want to ask you about a couple, we mentioned the draft being this week, and obviously Joel Velasquez, Daniel Cantrell from Boise State are hoping to get signed with a team, or and continue their careers. I know you're close with both those guys, I believe. In terms of Joel first, I saw him out there at Pro Day, and he was doing the long field goals. He was, I think he hit one from 55. He's doing the punting, and then he did the kickoffs as well. I know consistency at times was probably the one thing. He's got the talent, but I know if you look at his career at Boise State, maybe the consistency at times wasn't there. But when you look at Joel, and what do you think of his chances to maybe hopefully get a chance to keep playing football?
I think he has a good opportunity to go into a mini camp or even be, kind of what they call a camp leg, because he's able to do all three at a pretty high level as well. So he could have an opportunity here soon to where, a team says, hey, we have, a veteran kicker, a veteran punter. We're just going to have you do all three and kind of just kick your leg out through all of camp. And if he's able to do that and put together good film and put together a good impression with some of these coaches, I mean, it's everybody in the league talks. So if he very, very well can have that opportunity of, just being the camp leg and exhausting himself. And then Danny with, he's a big kid, big frame, moves really well, gets downfield well, tackles well. Again, he's just having to snap under pressure and they're strict with laces, they're strict with ball placement. So being able to really dial in on his technique and being able to control the rotations on the ball to where he gets laces up every single time, to where he can control where it's landing on the punter's body frame, keeping it on the right side, right hip, and being able to get downfield at that point.
And I know it's a long snapper is kind of like a kicker, right? There's only 32.
Right.
You don't keep 3 kickers on the roster. You don't keep 3 long snappers. I mean, there's only a certain amount. But people keep asking me, okay, you got Shakir. Who else are you guys you think are really going to get a chance? And I keep saying Cantrell, because it's a unique thing. But if you can do it, right? I mean, if you're good at it, you may have a chance.
Yeah, no, and again, it's his body frame and how he moves and how he covers, and that's. Teams look at that. They really do look at size, and they do really look at athleticism. And even if, the snapping isn't 100% where they want it to be, they know they can work with it, or they know that they can go out and get a guy to, work with him to, get it to where they want to be. So him continuing to grind, him continuing to work out, him continuing to put his, again, best foot forward and continuing to be the guy that he knows he is all he can do right now. And I think he will get an opportunity somewhere. And when he gets there, that's where he just needs to go out, perform, do his thing, and he has an opportunity.
Were you on the team with Montel Cozart?
I actually
2017, was that your year?
I was an unpaid intern afterwards, but I know Montel.
Yeah, we had him on the show yesterday. It was cool to see him get signed as well. Which team was he with? Birmingham, I believe?
Birmingham. Yeah. So day one when he showed up, because I was the only Boise State guy here at the time, and so he was walking down the hall, and I didn't really see who he was at first, and I saw a Boise State shirt, and it was almost kind of like, because I think I had one on too, and it was almost kind of like the Spider-Man meme where they point at each other, and I literally went, wait, and then he looked at me, and he's like, wait, and I was like, Montel, what's up, man? I was like, how the heck did you get here?
That's hilarious. Well, good for him, and hopefully he can continue to keep it. He's in a similar spot. He was telling us he was selling cars at a car dealership and just trying to work out and hang on to his dream as well. And so it's cool to see you guys. And again, happy for you, man. And hopefully you can keep it going. And we're looking forward to seeing you the rest of the year, put up big numbers. But hopefully, hopefully come July and August, we're interviewing you from some NFL city when you're in training camp, man. So
yes,
keep
sir.
it going. We appreciate your time as always, man. We're rooting for you, and keep doing your thing, man.
Thanks, BJ. Appreciate you as always.
Take care. There he is, Tyler Rausa. We appreciate him for coming on the show and joining us. And as always, great dude, and really happy and excited for him. A couple other things we want to get to. I do want to tell you about Lithia, Florida, Boise. It's no surprise that more new people are discovering Idaho and the natural beauty waiting to be seen and experienced. But no matter how long you've been in Idaho, we're here to help you discover the perfect Ford truck or SUV for those journeys. While we're at it, make sure you feel you're right where you belong. You're welcome here at Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Check them out online, lithiafordboise.com, and they are providing a free car. If you get a hole-in-one at the Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament June 3rd, you'll win on hole 6. Hole 6 at Timberstone will have the Ford Escape parked out by the tee box, and you can drive it right off the property, I believe, if you get a hole-in-one on the hole 6 of the golf tournament. So we still do have some foursomes remaining. We have a couple hole sponsorships remaining. If you're interested, come on out June 3rd. Going to have some of the basketball coaches out there. We got Dan Potter, the men's golf coach, Kaylin Downs, the women's golf coach. We got Matt Boucher coming out to play. We got Jay Tust playing, Mike Prater, John Mallory's going to be out there, John Patrick. I recently found out Nick Duncan is going to be playing with Brian King, former player as well. So Reggie Larry's even trying to get a team together. So we got a lot of former players coming back to play. It's going to be a lot of fun. You get breakfast and lunch from Just Cater It, the new catering business from Chef Wally, who used to own Fat Guy's Fresh Deli. He runs his own catering unit. We're going to have plenty of great food. We're going to have a Q&A afterwards with some of the special guests. We're going to have a raffle with some really cool prizes, and we're raising money for the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. We're also going to support the family of Rick Worthington with a donation. He's been through a lot of tough times recently, so also trying to help make sure we can keep Jay and Johnny and Prater and even Colin, our intern, on moving forward. So we're just trying to raise some funds for that, and it's going to be a great time. And again, you can email me, rains@bronconationnews.com, rains@bronconationnews.com for more information. You can also check bronconationnews.com and click on the golf tournament tab. But yeah, you get free drinks as well. Forgot to mention that, but Stein Distributing coming through. Appreciate Joe Agana, and we're going to have a lot of great drinks on the course and different kinds of things. So we got ICCU and rowpaint.com as our two main sponsors for this event. So thank you to rowpaint.com and ICCU, and they're both going to be providing some giveaways. We got free balls. Rowpaint.com is going to be giving out golf balls. We got ICCU donating some things as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and looking forward to seeing some of you out there on June 3rd. If you can make it. So I mentioned Matt Boucher Real Estate. We appreciate their support of the show. And as I mentioned earlier, don't forget tomorrow's show. Tomorrow is going to be a cool one. Winston Venable. It'll be his first interview since he left as the Boise State running backs coach. He has not done any interviews yet, but Winston Venable will join us, the former Boise State linebacker, and again was the running backs coach last year. He is going to join us tomorrow at 9:00 as we talk about Khalil Shakir and Cyrus Abibi-Likio and Octavius Evans and some of these guys trying to go for the NFL draft. He'll give us the coach's perspective of what their chances are and what he thinks in terms of other chances of making it to the NFL. And we'll catch up with him and see what he's doing now that he's not coaching anymore. So looking forward to that. Winston Venable going to join us on tomorrow's show. As always, if there's breaking news, make sure you check bronconationnews.com and our social media channels. Anything that happens, if Boise State gets a basketball recruit, we don't have an update yet on Ogbo, the 4-star transfer from Texas Tech that visited over the weekend. I would suspect he might be making his decision here pretty soon. He's now visited all 3 finalists already, so he'll probably make a decision here pretty soon. Whenever that happens, whenever Marcus Shaver or any of these guys, Malad and Armouche make their final decisions, we'll have live shows and things. And I am hoping, by the way, Friday night, assuming that Khalil Shakir gets drafted, hopefully Friday night after he gets picked, we can do a little post-game show on here late Friday night and talk about Khalil Shakir and his new team and take our comments and thoughts on that. So appreciate everybody for checking this out. Hopefully you subscribe to us on YouTube. It's free. It's easy. Just go to the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. That's actually the easiest way to comment and to watch the shows as well. You'll find out when there's a live broadcast and things. So just go to youtube.com/Bronco Nation News, and you can subscribe to the channel for free and get notified when there's new broadcasts and things like that. So bronconationnews.com, check it out for the latest Boise State coverage. We really appreciate everybody for checking this out, and we will keep this thing rolling. So we'll be back with breaking news as news develops and things happen. We'll have you at bronconationnews.com. Otherwise, 9 a.m. tomorrow, Winston Venable will join us. So Big Wade says thanks. Thank you to Big Wade. Thank you to our guest, Tyson Degenhart. Thank you to Tyler Rausa. Thank you to Jay Tust. Thank you to Joe Nickel over at Boise State for helping us set this up. And thanks to you guys, our fans, our viewers, our subscribers for making this thing possible. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll try to keep it rolling. 9 a.m. tomorrow, as we do each and every day, 9 a.m., local sports talk, local Boise State talk on the social media channels at bronconationnews.com. So have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow with Winston Venable, 9 a.m., Bronco Nation News, bronconationnews.com.